What's up, everybody? We're live. I'm a little late tonight. We was watching the fight. had to watch my boxing. So we had to get that in and get that out of here. Trying to get this phone out of here. Trying to get my screens together. What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Juggernaut, Arkatech Beatz. We are live tonight. It's Friday night. Just finished watching the triple header of boxing. So that's the reason why we late tonight. But listen, we're going to do what we do every night. And we're going to be working on how we work on some tracks and stuff. So if it's your first time here, I'm your main man, Juggernaut, Arkatech Beatz, multi-platinum producers. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that follows us. And, we started some trap music. Let's get busy. What's up, everybody? Main man, Juggernaut, Arkatech Beatz. Do some trap music tonight. Just said it's a Nipsey Hussle beat. heard this. I've heard this sample before. I wanted to do something different to it. Try to chop it up. See what we get tonight. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live. Or Larry June. Yeah, you know it's gonna be Larry June. It's definitely that vibe. We're gonna slice this up. We're gonna see what we're able to build tonight. Shout out to everybody that's on the live. Four-bar loop. Let's see if we can get out of here. reverse engineer it. Anthony, what's up? He says, you know, it would be great if you could actually make your own music with an instrument. Brewensky, I would suggest that you do your research on who I am and what I do. You know, these tutorials are sample based, but there's a lot of my discography that does not contain samples. So, kudos to you. Born Ready, you was here from the beginning. You saw me struggling with this joint. You saw me struggling with it because it was really, it's a dope sample, but it's been used before. So it's kind of like, okay, you trying not to use it in the way that somebody else used it prior to you using it. So I chopped it, then I started moving the start points around, just kind of arbitrarily. It never wasn't a real thing to it. And then now I said let's lay a beat down first, and then try to get a melody. And we just did a real basic beat, but I'm going to start adding on to the beat to get the percussion going a little bit better. Says, do you ever use the MPC sample kits they sell on their website? Yeah, I use the internal kits that are here. And when I was using like Serato and stuff, some of these guys, there are some dope producers that have their kits on here that I think are worth trying. So you gotta just try everything out, to be honest, and see what it feels like. I'm not even gonna say what it sounds like; it's what it feels like, because depending on what the feel is, then you'll be able to determine, if you want to keep those sounds. Well, shout out to everybody that's in the live. I got on late tonight because I was watching the fight, man. I had to watch the fight. I thought Ryan Garcia was going to win tonight. I thought he was going to knock out Romero. Rolly showed everybody that he could fight. Or he got a little something still in him. Now, I'm not from Arkansas. I'm from the Bronx, man. We just try to find a different way to spell Arkatech. You know what I mean? Let's go. Shout out to Arkansas. I might speed it up. Let's go. Hold on. Hold on. Don't have a connection yet. Hold on. Let me cook. Give me a chance to cook on it. It's not quite it. what's my beef for trap music? He said, what's my beef for trap music? How can I have beef for trap music when I got music with Shorty Low? I got music with Saha. I got music with Waka Flocka. I got music with Alley Boy. I got music with Trouble. I got music with El Dorado Red. Killer Mike. I don't got any issue with trap music. I make trap music just fine. And for those who got into the live late, this is for I don't want to mess your name up. It's Ashkin. Listen, man. You got into the live late. I don't know what he's talking about, my trap music. I don't know what he's talking about. I had started that earlier, but people wasn't feeling it, so that's why I went to the... Who watched the fight, man? Yeah, this sure was whack. Not like that Conor Ben fight last week. Yeah, Ryan didn't want to get knocked out. Not for nothing, man. Some fighters just have your number, man. I don't think that's a good matchup. You know what I'm saying? People might have thought that Ryan would have rolled through him, but if you ever watch their old sparring footage, he too strong for Ryan. And the fight that he had against Tank, man, I'm gonna say everybody that fight Tank was weight trained. Because when every time somebody asks you if you're going to add the hi-hats, you seem well, you got to understand, man. Like, I'm trying to do certain types of tutorials, right? I think the tutorials or the education for trap music is out there. If people want that, then there's plenty of resources for that. Like there's so many guys out here that do that. They're like experts in it. Like I see guys in FL Studio doing these beats in 30 seconds, like literally, like they can do their thing on the keyboard and piano roll and it's done. So it's just me doing what I do, and that's just really what it is. You know what I mean? So all of it sounds the same, and that's probably what my problem is. Is that it started to lose. I think like it started to lose its flavor because it's too templated. It's too cookie cuttered. So it's like that's what part of the problem is. So I think sometimes when you're dealing with samples don't allow everything to sound the same. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a sample. Like, it can't sound the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. It's better to be lyrical now, but we're gonna see how long it lasts, man. Because I still see some real crazy music winning right now. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. I'm gonna try to see if I can get a second part on the 8 bars on this. We name this beat. Let's save this beat internally. We're gonna call this one I'll call this slow motion. I had another sample in here that I'm gonna try to see if I can rock out. It's a Friday night. It's 10:30 down there. Just finished watching some boxing. Do you ever work with the what's that? The Amen Brother sample or for breakbeats? Listen, I try to just use, like I said, royalty-free samples. I'm not gonna hold you. You have to realize that what happens a lot with these lives is we produce something, and then we get an inquiry, and someone says, "Hey, we want to use that." If I'm using third-party samples that I have to clear, then that puts a wedge in between me and the person that may want to do what they want to do, to put out what they want to put out immediately. So I'm not really using anybody's break beats, things that have to clear, especially because I'm doing lives too. Because when you're doing lives, you're bound to get copyright strikes through either Twitch or you get your audio muted, Facebook, TikTok. So they'll mute you and they'll cancel your live if you have monetized channels like I have. Then you start to play with your money like that. So how do you go about clearing a sample? Basically, what you would do is you would have to go through what we call a clearinghouse. You would reach out to the publisher's information, and you would reach out to the label. You would basically tell them that you want to use a sample. You would give them a copy of the music, and then at that point they would tell you what's this going to cost you. So sometimes they may charge you an upfront fee. Sometimes they may charge you a fee for X amount of copies sold. And then they may say, okay, we want this amount of the record depending on your sample use. Gotcha. But for sampling use, it's definitely for more clarity on that, it's definitely in the Musician's Guide to Music Publishing for using of samples. I'm gonna try another sample I got in here. So who owns the clearinghouses? The clearinghouse has been established for a long time. There's one person that we've used for a long time. and she goes by the name of Deborah Manning. That's somebody that's like an industry veteran. Been used for like maybe the last 20 years. They get it done. You got to realize that there are people that get paid for every piece of the business now. I don't want to do that tonight. That's too slow for me right now. Gonna put people to sleep tonight. Try to find something more exciting. That sounds pretty angelic, if I had to say so myself. Y'all ready? Let's see what we can do with this one. Some sample packs do go crazy. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Try it again. everybody that's in the live. Time to turn it up. Let's go. Let's try it again. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Share the live. Let's try it again. Sharing the live. Hit that like button, man. Let's go. Let's hit that like button. Let's go.
Arkatech Beatz.
sequence with this. Gotta there's so many things that I could do with this. This is really it really has a lot of instrumentation. I just got on late tonight because I was watching the fight, man. But we be on every night, man. 9 o'clock. And you can see the previous lives on YouTube. If, they don't have them on TikTok. But if you go on YouTube, all of the lives is there at Arkatech Beatz. I'll put it on the screen. Everything is Arkatech Beatz, man. IG, everything. Arkatech Beatz. But you can watch the lives from beginning to end, there. You'll see all the past beats and everything else. You know what I mean? I just spilled my drink. And I could have got on the NPC. That would have been terrible. No drinks around electronics in the studio, y'all. No drinks around the electronics. No drinks in the studio. You break your rule. You destroy your equipment. So we're gonna put that away. Let's go. I see you. We're here every night at 9 o'clock. And let me break down how we did this track, man. It's very kind of simple. We started with a regular snare in there. Right? Nothing too fancy. Regular kick. Right? Nothing too crazy. But it was a sample that drives it home. So this sample is like some a mouthy coast type, you know what I mean, type thing, you know what I mean, for those who've been overseas and kind of understand where I'm coming from. Did the hats in there, and we did a little variation. Did an open hat on here, and then when we put it all together, we get Peace, Coach K. What's up? Appreciate you, brother. Calvin, what I would challenge you to do is I would challenge you to go listen to the current state of hip hop. Griselda, say Westside Gun, Benny the Butcher, like everybody that's kind of doing their thing right now. And I want you to see if any of that music seems too repetitive, or if any of that music has any major changes, breaks, or breakdowns. I think what happens sometimes is us as producers, when we're working against each other, you know, we're challenged to make the most elaborate breakdowns, right? So, like, say for example, if I'm going into a producer battle and I want the producers to really see how intricate my production is. How did I chop it? How many things did I make it do? Did I flip it? But what you'll notice is that that music rarely sells and gets on albums. And that's just a fact. So, what you'll realize is that if you're trying to make music for commercial viability, and if you're trying to actually sell your music and have people actually rap on your music, less is more. I hope that helps. Christopher, I'm not sure what. I haven't really been to any producer battles as of late. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was asked to judge a producer thing, but it was kind of a conflict with my schedule. But it just depends on what people are looking for, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are so many different levels to this. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading my screen. I'm gonna try to see if I can put it on a bigger screen. So it's scratch battles. Yeah, so back in the day, if you remember, like watching the DJ stuff, man, like, you know, it got so technical that you couldn't really, groove to the music. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to make the most elaborate beat, man. Like, and we've been there, like back in the day when we used to have to battle to get on these albums, and you have to think about it. Like, say for example, we're on Jadakiss Top 5 Dead or Alive. Who's the producers on that album? Swiss Beats, Just Blaze, us, and a number of other guys on this joint. So what happens is when you're battling for a position on these albums, yeah, sometimes you have to make the most elaborate music, but you have to also remember not to make the music for other producers. You got to make the music for artists. Making music for other producers, you kind of get stuck. And you can continue to make music that, is dope to other producers, but other producers won't rap on your music. So, you kind of get stuck. So, again, we're trying to do everything in the name of, trying to make a living from your art. You're trying to see what you can sell. You're trying to see if you can if your music doesn't get published, outside of you putting it out yourself, it doesn't earn any income, right? So if it doesn't get published, if it doesn't get synced, so you have to always think about where can your music fit in the marketplace commercially. I hope that makes sense. So let's go back to the first beat that I did tonight, which everybody seems not to, they don't like the trap music. I don't know what's wrong with the trap music. It's like, it's 808s. I think I'm gonna add those little kicks in there. Try it again. That's beat number 2. Now beat number 3, which was the Monster. out Controller Working. Appreciate that. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Shout out to all of y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Arkatech Beatz. You know, we get here every day at 9 o'clock. We show people how to do this MPC. We answer questions about the music business, music publishing, copyright, you name it, management, e-commerce. You name it, we answer it for you. We're here every night, 9 o'clock. If you're trying to learn the music business, you're trying to learn how to produce this music, we're here as well. Yeah, man. Started on the MPC 1000. Let's go. Shout out to Big Fish. Shout out to AJ Rob. Anthony in the building. Born Ready in the building. Dum Dum. DJ Drumtastic. Appreciate y'all. Controller Working. Appreciate you. Let's keep it going. Do I have another sample in here? I think I might. Nah, I think that might be it for tonight. How old was I when I started doing this? I started to get into this thing when I was about 18. One of my older brother's friends. I have an older brother who's 9 years older than me. He had taken my sister-in-law, my brother's wife. She's a singer, and he wanted to do a record with her, and I wound up going with them to the studio. And then I was kind of trying to dabble in it a little bit, but then when I wound up going to the studio with them, I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. So I started trying to save up the coins, get my first sampler, and I really went through a lot of trial and error. And I bought a sampler probably that I shouldn't have bought. I bought an Akai SO1. It's a 16-second sampler, 32-bit. And, you know, I probably shouldn't have bought that considering what I was trying to do. Because then I needed to buy a whole bunch of other stuff. I had to buy a sequencer. I had to buy this, had to buy that. But when I finally upgraded from that to an ASR 88, I bought an ASR 88. So I went and bought the biggest ASR I could find. I used to go to the music store. And I used to bring everybody to the music store, and I'm like, yo, this keyboard does this, it does this. I knew the manual back and forth. Yo, this is what it does. And then I wind up getting my money up. You know, I wind up getting one of those college credit cards. Took that to Sam Ash with my homie Arafat Born Thug. Shout out to him. They didn't have it. I had to go all the way to Long Island to go get it. So I had to go get it. It was like 120. It was like 100. The ASR 88 was 125 pounds. 125 pound keyboard. So my man helped me carry it up to my room, and I unboxed it, and then I gave my Akai, my SO1. I gave it to my cousin Mike D. That's my partner. and then he start messing around with it, and then every weekend we get together, we do the beats, we match our beats up, and then we make the beat tapes. And on that Akai SO1, he was able to find put together the beginning parts of Capital Punishment for Big Pun. So as much as I might have not liked that sampler, it's a gift that keeps on giving. So 3 times platinum on that thing. Yeah, that's way back. So you got ASR, Roland W30. Yeah, I had the Triton, man. I couldn't get into the Triton, man. I couldn't do it. It didn't work for me. I just couldn't get into the sounds. Like, what I'm saying? It just felt like I was trying to sound like everybody else. I need my other stuff. Yeah, I had a motif though. I had a Planet Fat, a Roland VS 1680. I had a Roland 2480. Then I had a Soundcraft Ghost. That's before we start getting into Pro Tools, Digio 1, Digio 2. You know how it go. Then we what else did we have back then? I had another SP. I had the Akai 2000. I did the bulk of Raekwons on that Akai, on that MPC 2000. Then we wind up upgrading to MPC 2000 XLs. And then from there, once I came to Atlanta, started using FL Studio. And then from FL Studio, I went on to Ableton for a little while. Then I did Ableton for a little while, but not long. And then Machine. Didn't really like that. Serato I like a whole lot. I really do like Serato. Serato's really dope. And then came back to the MPC. I just got this MPC not even a year ago. Yeah, the business stuff is let me tell you, the business stuff it's a combination of books and it's a combination of experience. Because depending on the genre of music that you're in, some things go by the book. And if you're in a different genre, they don't go by the book. They make their own rules. They don't follow the rules, and it creates all types of obstacles and drama. And listen, you got to be diligent about it, because if you're not diligent about it, it always comes back to bite you. And what these folks are betting on, and I'm going to look in the camera when I say this, they're betting on you being ignorant, and then they're betting on you giving up, meaning they make the obstacles, they make the hurdles so tall that people get tired of trying to jump over them, and then they give up. And then what happens is the money that's owed to you, you never get it. Yeah, having your LLC is one thing, and then you definitely need to know how to copyright your music. That tends to get a lot of people. They get a little intimidated by that, but it's not really that difficult of a process. You know what I would also say to I would say to producers now. A lot of times your music gets picked up and you you know you sign to work for hire, and you don't your music, you figure you sign to work for hire, and then your music isn't necessarily, so you get your royalties and stuff. um I would still suggest, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I would still suggest, even if you have your music, if you get a production situation going on, say for example you're in talks with somebody to have your music put on an album, I would I would suggest, even though you might sign a work for hire, I would suggest that you copyright that song. And I'm gonna tell you why. There's this thing that artists do where, hey, my album's coming out next month. You're the last song on the album, or you're coming to the close of the album, and I really want your song. I want your song. I want your song. Give me your stems. Da 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 da. We're gonna pay you. Blah blah blah. We're gonna send you a producer memo or agreement, whatever. So they send the agreement. They say, hey, once you sign off, we'll pay you. Everything is good, right? You sign off. They cut you your money. You think everything is good, right? But everything is not good, because what happens is they take your signature. Your signature is enough for them to release your music. But if it's not countersigned by the artist, then you can never collect your royalties. And that is the game. So the game is to get you to sign off so they can exploit your music, but you never get a counter signature so that you can get your royalties. Or, so they just never sign. And a lot of times these guys are not signing it off because they're thinking, well, I'm spending all this money and the record's not going to recoup anyway, so there is no royalties. But that's not always the case. So in these kind of cases where you don't have a executed agreement and you're trying to get your royalties, then what you may be able to do is you may be able to lean back on that initial copyright, because if they didn't execute the agreement, it may or may not be valid. Now, again, they may say, hey, you took some money, there's considerations, but you need things to create leverage. And if you don't have the copyright file, then it doesn't put you in a position to file a lawsuit, at least not for copyright infringement. So, this are just things that I would tell folks to do to just kind of position themselves for, what may or may not happen. Yeah, you gotta stay papered up, man. This is a protection game, because you just don't know, And if you don't have a lawyer that's very diligent, like I had a artist that my lawyer may have asked for at least maybe 40 follow-ups before we actually got a response. Now, if you had an attorney that was going to charge you for every time they sent the email, you see how that could add up, So this is, luckily I have somebody that works with us for a very long time, and he's very diligent about what he does. But you can clearly see that, this is the game. So I just want people to be aware of that. man. I'm getting ready to get up out of here. My kids got soccer in the morning. I will see everybody tomorrow, 9 p.m. If you missed the live, the early parts of the live, you can see those on YouTube. You can watch those on YouTube. We have lives on YouTube where you can watch the tutorials, and we break down how folks are making these beats track by track, learning the MPC track by track. Shout out to everybody that's in the building right now. Calvin, Anthony, Big Fish, AJ Robinson, I see you. Born Ready, I see you. Dum Dum, D Davis, you know what I mean? Shout out to all y'all folks. Christopher, I see you. You know what I mean? Shout out to all y'all that's in the joints. You know what I mean? That's, in the chat and everything. I appreciate y'all chat. I appreciate y'all asking the questions and y'all engaging. And people are just here to try to learn, Yeah, man, everybody stay safe. For those who are inquiring about beats, just shoot me a DM. We are doing limited licensing. It's all at arkatechbeatz.com. So for those who are interested in limited licensing, for beats, y'all can hit me up on that. Just understand that we're only working with a select few artists, and we're only offering maybe anywhere between 2 to 5 licensing on a beat. Once those licenses are sold, then that beat is off the market and it's gone. So I just want folks to know that. So if y'all got any questions or anything like that, y'all can always shoot me a DM. Make sure y'all hit up the website at arkatechbeatz.com. Check out our newsletter. Check out our blog. There's plenty of articles on the music business. Plenty. We stay diligent on it. We do the podcast. We do everything so that people can learn this music business, because I don't want people being taken advantage of the way folks try to take advantage of us. We had to battle those folks, and we're just trying to put the information out there so that you don't have to go through it either. So, till tomorrow, everybody be safe out there.